Hi guys, so we are going to go over our review for the expressions and equations test. So you should have already made your best attempt at everything on here, and this is just to explain anything that you were still confused on. So I'm going to go through each answer, talking through it, and hopefully that'll help you clear up any questions. So describe the strategy for solving equations. Remember we said that the strategy was to isolate the variable. So get it by itself on one side of the equation by using inverse operations. Remember, inverse just means opposite. So the whole goal is just to try and keep using opposite operations to get those numbers to one side so that you have the variable on the other. So you know x equals whatever, okay? So when simplifying this expression, it will result in which of the following? Highlight your answer. So again, if you're doing this in the Google Doc, you would just highlight the one that's correct. So remember, when we're simplifying, we want to distribute first, which there aren't any parentheses, so we can skip that step, and then we want to combine like terms. So I see a 4x and I see a negative 7x. Watch your signs. Make sure that you get the sign that's directly in front of the term. I'll make that a little bigger so you can see. So then just be careful with your addition rules. This is 4 plus negative 7. Okay, so what would that be? That would be negative 3x for those two terms. And then you have a plus 10 and minus 3. So 10 minus 3 is positive 7. So your final answer would be negative 3x plus 7. Again, because it is positive, we just say plus. So you would highlight C on that one. Okay, for the next one, it asks for the given equation, what will be the best first step to solving? So use your rules for solving equations and think about what would come first. Your variables over here, so you know you're trying to get rid of these two numbers. And remember, we learned that we should add or subtract away first. So the first step would be to do the opposite of adding 20 and subtract 20. So that would be the first step. So we would say B, subtract 20 from both sides. Okay? This one, which of the following satisfies the equation x divided by negative 4 plus 8 equals negative 10? So when it says satisfies, we want to know what would go in for x. What does x equal? So we're going to just solve for x. So if you know your variables on this side of the equation, you know you need to add or subtract away first. So I would get rid of this plus 8 by subtracting 8. So x divided by negative 4 would come down. The 8's would cancel. And then negative 10 minus 8, you could think of it as negative 10 plus negative 8. Either way, it would give you negative 18. Again, I'm looking on the side with the variable, seeing how I can get rid of this. It says divided by negative 4, so I would want to do the opposite and multiply by negative 4, making my 4's cancel. So I would have x equals, and then when you multiply here, remember same signs gives me a positive answer, so positive 72. So on your Google Doc, you would highlight D, 72. All right. Which of the following satisfies this equation? Highlight your answer. So again, we're just solving for the variable. We have f over here, and the thing that we can add or subtract away would be the plus 8. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. So I would bring down negative 6f. Don't forget that negative sign. The 8's cancel. And then negative 4 minus 8, remember, 40 is the same as negative 40 plus negative 8, so negative 48. Again, I'm looking on the side with the variable. Negative 6 is being multiplied by f, so I want to do the opposite and divide by a negative 6. Don't forget these signs. When you've got a negative and you're multiplying or dividing, you need to do the inverse with that negative sign. Okay, so f would equal positive, because we're dividing with same signs, 8. So B there. All right. So here we're matching these with these. So here I just need to distribute. And the key here is your signs. Notice you've got negatives on some of the 3s, negatives on some of the 5s, negatives on some of the 2s. You need to just watch your signs. So negative 3 times negative 5, that's same sign, so that would be positive 15x. Negative 3 times positive 2, different signs, so that would be negative 6. 15x minus 6 would be this one, so this one is A. So these two match. Okay, here, positive 3 times negative 5x, different signs, so negative 15x. Positive 3 times negative 2, different signs, so that would be negative 6. So negative 15x minus 6 would be here. This would be B. Okay, next one, negative 3 times positive 5x. Those are different signs, so negative 15x. Negative 3 times negative 2, those are same signs, so that would be positive 6. So negative 15x plus 6, that would be this guy, C. And then here, just to make sure we did it right, do it through. Negative times negative makes a positive 15x, and negative times negative makes a positive 6. So both positive would be here, D. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the second page. I want to clarify how to show your work if you're doing this digitally. You're going to write your first step, second step, and final answer, kind of like we did on one of our practices when we did it on the Google slide when we learned some of this remotely. So if I write this out, I've got 8x plus 4 equals 68, and I do my dividers, and I circle my variable. The first thing, remember, is to add or subtract one of these numbers away. I can subtract 4. Now that was my first step. So under first step, I'm going to write minus 4. Okay. Then I'm going to bring down 8x. 4 minus 4 cancels. 68 minus 4 is 64. Now I'm looking for my next step. 8 is being multiplied by x, so I want to divide by 8. So second step, I divided by 8, so I just put slash 8. Okay. And then x would equal 64 divided by 8, or 8. So my final answer would be 8. So that's what you would be typing in for these first step, second step, final answer. Let's try the next one. We've got x over 2 minus 6 equals negative 10. I'm going to put my divider. I'm going to work on the side with the variable. What can I add or subtract away? This guy. So I'm going to add 6. As soon as I do a step to both sides, I'm going to write it down, plus 6. Okay, x divided by 2 comes down. The 6's are opposite, they cancel, equals negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. Again, working on the side with the variable, x is being divided by 2. The opposite would be to multiply by 2. I just did that to both sides, so that's my second step, multiply by 2. Okay, that cancels. I have x equals negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So my final answer will be negative 8. Okay, let's try the next one. We've got 6x minus 4 equals 2x plus 4. I'm going to draw my dividers. This is a multi-step. There's no parentheses, so I can't distribute. I can't combine any terms on this side or this side, but I can move my variables to one side. So if I subtract 2x, That's going to be my first step. 6x minus 2x would be 4x minus 4 equals, that cancels, 4. Now, working on the side with the variable, what can I add or subtract away? I can add 4. I just did that to both sides, so that's my second step. Okay, so 4x comes down. Negative 4 and positive 4 make 0. 4 plus 4 makes 8. Again, looking on the side with the variable, 4 is being multiplied by x, so the opposite would be to divide by 4. So my third step is to divide by 4. That leaves me with x equals 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my final answer is 2. All right, let's try this next one. We've got 4 times parentheses m minus 5, close parentheses, equals 20. So my first step would be to distribute, right? So you can just write distribute there as your first step. So that becomes 4 times m is 4m. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20 equals 20. Let's make sure we have our dividers. Working on the side with the variable, now what can I add or subtract away? I'm going to add 20. So that's my next step, plus 20. The 4m comes down. Negative 20 and positive 20 cancel each other out. 20 plus 20 is 40. Working on the side with the variable again, this is 4 times m, so I want to do the opposite and divide by 4. That was my third step, divide by 4. Okay, so m equals 40 divided by 4 is 10. So my final answer is 10. Okay, let's do this one. We've got 6x plus 10 minus 3x equals 31. Draw my dividers. So there's no parentheses to distribute, but I do see like terms on the same side of the equation. We have a 6x and we have a negative 3x. 6 minus 3 is 3x plus 10 equals 31. So our first step was to combine like terms. You can abbreviate like that, combine like terms. Okay, then now we're looking on the side with the variable. What can I add or subtract away? Subtracting 10. So 3x comes down. 10 minus 10 cancels. 31 minus 10 is 21. So, I forgot to write my step down. Minus 10. Why it's a good idea to show your work. All right, and now we have x here. To get rid of the 3, I need to divide, because that's the opposite of multiplying. So that was divide by 3 for that step. And now x equals 21 divided by 3 is 7. So my final answer would be 7. Okay, so now we're looking at a consecutive integer problem. 2 consecutive integers. Remember what consecutive means. That means back to back, one after the other. And it's not consecutive odd or consecutive even. They're just back to back. So think like 1, 2, 3, 4. And their sum is equal to 113. Okay? So when sum means addition, okay? So we're going to add something. Let's put our equation down here. We're going to add something, and it's going to equal 113. Now, what is that something? 2 integers. So we don't know what they are, so let's put a placeholder, like x, for the first integer. And then say my first integer was 1. What would I have to do to 1 to get to the next one? I'd have to add 1, right? If my first number was 2, I'd have to add 1 to get to 3. If my first one was 3, I'd have to add 1 to get 4. So we can make our second integer x plus 1. So this is our first number. And then x plus 1 is our second number. And we know that their sum, when we add them together, is 113. Okay, so that's our equation here. Now our solution. Let's solve it. We've got x plus 1 equals 113. Draw our dividers. Remember your invisible ones. This is a 1x and this is a 1x. So if I combine them, I would have 2x plus 1 equals 113. Okay, now working on the side with the variable, what can I add or subtract away? I can subtract 1. So now I have 2x equals 113 minus 1 is 112. Now I have x here. 2 is being multiplied by x. I want to do the opposite and divide by 2. So x would equal 112 divided by 2, which is 56. So this is part of our answer. Our solution is 56. And what did it want? 2 consecutive integers. So 56 and 56 plus 1, 57 would be my 2 consecutive integers. And you can check, does 56 plus 57 equal 113? Yes, it does. All right, let's keep going on these last couple word problems. So it says Jeff repairs computers. He charges clients a flat rate of $40 plus, thinking addition, $20 for each hour that he spends on the repair. If his client pays $100, how many hours did Jeff spend working on the computer? Remember, the question is our variable. How many hours is what we want to know. So let's call that H for hours. And let's think of, all right, let's see if I can pause this. Pause. Okay, I don't know how to pause this. All right, let's keep going. So we have a flat rate of $40, and then we are adding plus 20 per hour. So 20 times the number of hours. And we say that this client gets paid $100. So 40 plus 20 per hour equals 100. Okay? So then for the solution, we just need to solve our equation. So let's solve it down here. We've got 40 plus 20h equals 100. So we are going to work on the side with the variable. What can we add or subtract away? Not the 20, because that's being multiplied by h, but the 40. So we can subtract 40 away. So that cancels. I have 20h equals 100 minus 40 is 60. Still on the side with the variable, 20 times h. The opposite would be to divide by 20. So now h would equal 60 divided by 20 is 3. So that means he spent 3 hours working on the computer. Sorry about that phone call and the distraction. Hopefully that wasn't too disruptive. All right, let's try our last one. 87 decreased by, I'm thinking minus, 2 times a number. So 2 times something, let's call our number n, is 107. What is the number? So n is the number. So our equation is going to be 87 decreased by minus 2 times a number is 107. So that would be our equation. And then solution, we just solve. So on the side with the variable, this negative 2 is being multiplied by n. This 87 is positive. We can subtract that away. Even though it's in a different order than we're used to, it's still the same idea. The 87s cancel. Bring down your negative 2n. 107 minus 87 is 20. Okay. To get rid of the negative 2 times n, we're going to divide by negative 2. Okay, so n would equal 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10. So our solution is negative 10. All right, hopefully that helps you prepare for your test. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks, guys.